Hello students, welcome back. So our today's topic is Science Part 1, Chapter 2nd, Periodic Classification of Elements. So here is the complete exercise 2 solved for you with complete explanation. Okay, so let's begin without wasting time. Question number 1 is rearrange the columns 2 and 3 so as to match with the column 1. So this is the first question in your textbook. So here is the table with the answers. See, triad, this word comes in Tauberinier's uh, model of arrangement of the elements. Tauberineer arranged the elements with respect to their atomic mass, isn't it? And during that he found that the middle element has average of the first and the last elements atomic mass. So triad, average of the first and the third atomic mass, and this comes in Tauberinier's theory. Octave, in Newland's atomic this periodic classification theory of Newland, when he arranged the elements in increasing order of their atomic mass, he observed that every eighth element was similar to the first, so he named it as octave. Like in musical notes there is octave. जैसे सात सुर हम बोलते हैं ना, तो आठवां सुर वो पहले सुर के जैसे होता है, सो ऑक्टेव, फ्रॉम दैट केम द वर्ड ऑक्टेव. एटॉमिक नंबर, so in Musseli's theory we have observed that he arranged the elements with respect to their increasing atomic number. Before Musseli, Tauberineer, Newland, Mendeleev, everybody arranged it with respect to the atomic mass. So positive charge on the nucleus. Then in Mendeleev's periodic table we have found that uh, there was the word period, and he arranged them with respect to their sequential change in the molecular formula. And we know that Thomson and Rutherford, they put forward their atomic theory. So in Thomson theory we came across the nucleus, and nucleus is nothing but the concentrated mass and has the positive charge. And in Rutherford he discovered various rays like X-ray and these things. So in his theory we have found he put forward that there are electrons, negatively charged particle, which are the lightest particle and carries negative charge, and they are present in all the atoms. So like this the table gets completed. सो अगर आपने चैप्टर कम्प्लीटली पढ़ा है तो आप ये आंसर्स आसानी से लिख सकते हो. So chapter reading is very important. Let's go to question number 2. Choose the correct option and rewrite the statements. The number of electron in the outermost shell of alkali metals is 1. See, alkali metals comes from the I will open the textbook to just explain slightly. See, these are the alkali metals. We'll go to the electronic configuration. See, H, Li, Na, K, all of them have one electron in their outermost shell. So from that, alkali metals has one electron. Alkaline earth metal have valency 2. This means that their position in the modern periodic table is in the group 2. See, alkaline earth metal, see, these are the group 2. Alkaline, these are the groups, second, first. So these are all alkaline earth metals. So they come under the group 2. Molecular formula of the chloride of an element X is HCl. This compound is a solid having high melting point. Which of the following elements are present in the same group as X? See, molecular formula of the chloride. So chloride is formed of a element, and its formula is HCl, like NaCl, MgCl. These are all chlorides. So chloride we know 287, so it can accept one electron. So out of the options given, sodium has one excess electron, so which it can share with chlorine. So the correct option is sodium, Na, because it can share electron with chlorine to form a stable compound. In which block of the modern periodic table are non-metals found? So let's once again go to the periodic table. See, we know from left to right, metals, we move towards from metals to non-metals. It is very clearly shown in page number 27. See here, increasing electronegativity and non-metal character from left to right in a modern periodic table. The electronegativity goes on increasing and the non-metal character. So our question was, in which block of the modern periodic table are non-metals found? So non-metals are all found in F, to the rightmost part, because see this, sorry, P block. P is the, see, this is the P block, which is the rightmost, and we have seen electronegativity and non-metallic character increases towards the right. So P block is the correct answer. Here P block. Question number 3. An element has its electronic configuration as 282. Now answer the following question. What is the atomic number of this element? Say atomic number is the number of electrons. So if we add all these 2, 8 and 2, so we get a number 12. So that is nothing but the atomic number of the element. What is the group of this element? So as there are 2 electrons in the outermost shell, so this goes to the group 2, because 2 is the valency of this, and second group belongs to the all the elements having valency as 2. To which period does this element belong? See, period is the number of shells element is having. So here there are 3 shells, 2, 8 and 2, K, L and M. So this will belong to the third period of the periodic table. As there are 3 shells in this atom, it belongs to the third period of the periodic table. With which of the following elements would this element reassemble? Atomic numbers are given in the bracket. See, with which will it reassemble more closely? So these are the elements: N, sodium, Be. N is nitrogen, beryllium, argon, chlorine, and the atomic numbers are given. So based on the atomic number, we can write their electronic configuration, which I have already written over here. N7, so 2, 8 and 2 and 5 it will be. It's not 17, 2 and 5. Beryllium 2 and 2 because 4, then 288 and 287 for argon and chlorine. From the electronic configuration, Be has same valence electrons 2 as the given element. So both will belong to the same group 2. See, Be is having 2 valence electron, and the element which is given above, 282, the configuration was given. It has also valence electron as 2. So beryllium and the given element will belong to the same group, and hence it will more reassemble to the beryllium element. Others are having different valency. See, 2 and 5, this is 288, this actually goes to the third period. This is 287, so more it will reassemble to the beryllium. Write down the electronic configuration of the following elements from the given atomic number. Answer the following questions with explanation. See, we have to write the electronic configuration of the elements, and then based on that we have to answer the question. So atomic numbers are given. 3 is the atomic number for Li, which is lithium. 14 is for silicon. 2 is for helium. So accordingly here I have already written the electronic configuration. Again here it will be 2 and 1, because it's 3. Then what are the questions? Which of these elements belong to the period 3? Now, which elements belong to the period 3? Of course, which are having 3 shells like 284, 281, 285. So, this silicon, sodium and phosphorus. So these all will belong to the third period because they have 3 elements. He is not Na and P. So this is the 3 elements which belong to the third period because third period has 3 shells. Second period has 2 shells. Let's see the table once again here. See, these are the periods. This is the first period. See, this is the first period. This is the second. This is the third, starting with Na and Mg. Then fourth. Like that, there are 7 periods. So the period number indicates the number of shells element is having. Let's move to the next question. So these are some elements. B. Which of these elements belong to the second group? So we have to write down the electronic configuration, and second group is having valency as 2. So elements which has 2 electrons in its outermost shell has valency 2. So that will belong to the group 2. So accordingly Ca and Be. Therefore here Ca and Be will belong to the second group. Now C part. Which is the most electronegative element among these? What is the electronegative element? Electronegative element are those elements which can easily accept the electrons. So let us write the electron configuration. Nitrogen 7, so 2 and 5. Then C 2 and 4, that is carbon. Oxygen 2 and 6. Then 2 and 3, and 2, 8 and 3. So based on this electronic configuration, I have written some remark. To complete the octet or the orbit, this can lose 3 electrons, this can lose 2 electrons, this can accept 2 electrons, whereas others can lose 1 electron. So this is the most electronegative element because it can accept 2 electrons and become negatively charged ion. Because it has the tendency to accept electrons. And it has also, see, it has only 2 shells. Here in aluminum there are 3 shells. So atomic radius will increase due to increase in number of shell. So ultimately the force of attraction between the positively charged nucleus, because there are protons positively charged, and the electrons will reduce or will be less compared to those having lesser orbit. Lesser orbit means less atomic radius and more force of attraction. So this is the most electronegative element because its atomic radius is less, only 2 shells, and it can accept 2 electrons to complete its octet. So this is the explanation. In 3 points I have broadly explained this. Then let's go to the next part. D. Again some elements are given with atomic number. Now which is the most electropositive element among these? See, now electronegative means element which can easily accept electron, and electropositive is which can easily donate electrons. So donors are mostly the metals, and acceptors are the non-metals. So let us write down the electronic configuration, which is already written over here. So here, to complete the octet, it can lose 2 electrons, and to form a stable noble gas configuration. This can accept electrons, or it can share to become a stable. This can accept 2 electron. We need element which can easily donate electron. So by donating, it will become positively charged. So here 2 and 3, this can lose 1 electron to form a stable noble gas configuration, or aluminum 283 can lose 1 electron to form a stable noble gas configuration. So beryllium can lose 2 electrons to form stable noble gas configuration and acquire negative charge. Similarly, carbon and boron, they can accept the electrons, whereas aluminum and boron can also lose one electron to be positively charged, and hence comparatively beryllium is the most electropositive element, as it can lose two electrons to form a positively charged cation. See, number of electron which it can lose is 2 electrons it can lose here. Let's go to the periodic table, and here let's see which are the see, this table you have to remember. See, increasing electronegativity and non-metal. So as we move towards the right hand side of the table, we'll get elements with higher electronegativity and non-metallic. So as we move to the left hand side, we are getting electropositivity and metallic character. So electropositivity and metallic characters. So we need elements with more electropositivity and metallic character. BeCOBAl. So let us find BeCOB and Al. So beryllium is the most electropositive, and our answer is Be is the most electropositive element, as it can lose two electrons to form positively charged cation. So our answer and this table also matches. So you have to remember this table, memorize this and the other one which I had shown you. So that will help to cross verify your answers. Now let's move to the next question. So which of these has largest atom? See, largest atom means largest atomic number, but not really largest atomic number, because we have to see actually the number of shells the atom is having, because maybe atom is having two shells, atomic number is more, but both atoms may have same number of shells. In that case the force of attraction will increase. Okay, I will explain this in detail. See, we have written the configuration 281, 285, 287, 284, 282. See here, exactly the case is all of them are having three shells, K, L and M. But as we see here, there is one electron in the outermost shell. Here there are 5, here there are 7. So as the atomic number increases, the number of electrons are increasing, but since the last shell is having capacity to hold 18 electrons, so shells are not increasing and neither is the radius increasing. Okay, but as the number of electrons in the outermost shell is increasing, the force of attraction between the nucleus and the outermost shell is also increasing, thereby reducing the atomic radius of the element. So these with higher electrons will have higher force of attraction and lower atomic radius, and this 2, 8 and 1 sodium is having the lowest number of electrons. So if we see the electron quantum of they are having 3 shells, but this is what I explained. So sodium is having the highest atomic, largest atom. Sodium is with largest atom. See, here it is the lastly the point is written after whatever I explained just now is written. I am not reading what is written, I am just explaining. You can write it down. And sodium will have the largest atom. Why? Because all of them are having 3 shells, but sodium is having the lowest number of electron in the outermost shell, thereby the force of attraction in other are more. So eventually the atomic radius will decrease due to more force of attraction, and higher the atomic radius, higher is the atomic size. Now F, which of these atoms has smallest atomic radius? See, again, smallest atomic radius means either the number of shell is less, or if number of shells are more but number of electrons are higher, then that will have more force of attraction, resulting in reduction in the atomic radius. So let us write down the electronic configuration. Now there are different shell numbers. See, some are having 3 shells, 2, 8, 9. and some are having only 2 shells. So the one which are having only 2 shells will have lesser atomic radius. And in that also we have to see the number of electrons in the outermost shell. Here there are 2 electrons and here there is only 1 electron. So here the force of attraction is more. So beryllium will have the lowest atomic radius. This is my explanation. You can write down the answer. In answer it is written. Now which of the above element has the highest metallic character? See, metallic character means now you have to remember the table, periodic table. On left hand side there are metals. As we move towards the right hand side of the periodic table, the metallic character goes on decreasing and non-metallic goes on increasing. So 283, 284. But here we have to explain why there is a metallic character and why there is a non-metallic. See, metallic character means which can readily lose the electron, which can donate the electron. See, metals are donors. So we have to see the electron economy 283, 284, 281, 282, 286. Here all elements have 3 shells, but the number of electrons in sodium atom are lowest, and hence the force of attraction between positively charged nucleus and the electron is less in sodium, and will have the bigger atomic radius compared to the other element. These two factors leads to sodium can lose its outer electron easily. The sodium is having first of all only single electron, so it is easier for sodium to lose this electron and complete its octet. Secondly, 3 shells, so lesser attraction force. So like this, sodium has a tendency to lose the electron and become a positively charged cations, and hence this is the property of a metal. So sodium atom has the highest metallic character among the given element. So for this you must know, we don't have to write based on the periodic table where sodium is or where silicon is. We have to write based on the understanding. So metals are donors. Now similarly the question is, out of these elements which one is having a highest non-metal character? Now non-metal is which are the acceptors, which can readily accept the electron. So we have to see the atomic radius, force of attraction, the number of electrons to complete the octet. These 3 factors will give us the answer. So here all elements are having 2 shells, so atomic radius are same, and fluorine is having the highest number of electron in the outermost shell, 7. See, fluorine is having 7 in the outermost shell. Others are having 6, 1, 5, 6. So fluorine can accept 1 electron to complete its octet. So fluorine can accept 1 electron and become negatively charged ion, and this property is property of non-metal. So fluorine has the highest non-metallic character. Now write the names and the symbol of element from the description. The atom having the smallest size. See, smallest size is, this is the atom. Okay, it has atomic number 1, so hydrogen. The atom having the smallest atomic mass, again it is the hydrogen, it has the smallest atomic mass. The most electronegative element, see, the most negative element is fluorine. We have already seen electronegative means when we move from left hand to right hand side. So if we see in the table, see, increasing electronegativity and non-metallic character. So as we move from left hand side to right hand side, the electronegativity character and non-metallic character increases. That is, these are the acceptors. So fluorine is the element which is having higher tendency to accept electrons and become a negatively charged ion. So fluorine is highly electronegative atom. The noble gas with the smallest atomic radius. See, helium is the out of this goes into the noble gas group, and it has the smallest atomic radius, because there are only, if we go to the table again, helium, where is helium? See, this is on the textbook. See, helium is having only 2 electrons, so single shell, and having 2 electrons. So, and it goes in the last group, 18. So it is the noble gas with smallest atomic radius. Since it has only single shell, so its atomic radius is the smallest, and it is also a noble gas. So helium, the most reactive non-metal, again it is fluorine. See, fluorine is the reactive because it can very easily accept an electron, so highly reactive, and it's a non-metal. Since it accepts the electron, non-metals are the acceptors and metals are the donors, so fluorine is the answer. Now the short notes on Mendeleev's periodic law. So this already we have seen this. What is Mendeleev's periodic law, then structure of the modern periodic table. So these are more of a theoretical question, so I am not going in that details. Write scientific reasons. Atomic radius goes on decreasing while going from left to right in a period. See, in the same period the number of shell remains same, but the number of electrons goes on increasing when moving from left to right, and hence the resulting force of attraction between the positively charged nucleus and the electrons goes on increasing, resulting in reduction of the atomic radius. This we already explained. Then similarly metallic character goes on decreasing while going from left to right in a period. See, in the same period the number of shell remains same, but the number of electron goes on increasing, resulting in more attraction force, resulting in reduction in the atomic radius, and as a result the tendency to accept the electrons increases to become a negatively charged anion, and which is a non-metallic character. So from left to right the non-metallic character increases. Again atomic radius goes on increasing down a group. See, in a periodic table down a group the number of shell goes on increasing, resulting in increase in the atomic radius of the atom. So that's a very simple reason, because the number of shell increases, so the radius also increases. Elements belonging to the same group have the same valency. See, in a periodic table down the same group we observe that they are having the same number of valence electron. We have seen that in this, see, here also in the same group. See, group number 1 all are having 1 electron in the outermost shell, which is the valence shell. Group 2 all are having 2 electron. Here also, see, all group, and hence the valency, see, the number of electron in the outermost shell, that is the valence shell, indicates the valency of the element. So they are having same valency. The third period contains 8 elements, even though the electron capacity of the third shell is 18. See, as per the electron holding capacity of shell is given by 2n square. N is the number of the orbit. So first orbit can contain 2 and second can contain 8 electron, whereas the third can contain 18. But depends upon the atomic number. So if the element is not having 18 electrons, so outermost shell will be incomplete. And if there are more electrons also, it can complete its octet. So depending on the 8 electron in the outermost shell, the third period can contain even 8 elements, because law of octet. So even 8 electrons in the outermost shell indicates a stable atom. Then write the names from the period with electrons in the KLM. So 3 shells, third period. 0 valencies, group 18 is a 0 valency. Noble gases. The family of non-metal having valency 1, it is the halogen family. So they have the valency 1. Just now we see, this is the halogens, hydrogen, lithium, rhodium. So they are having valency as 1. They are the halogen family. The family of metals having valency 1. These are the family of alkali metals. The family of metal is having valency 2. These are the alkaline earth metal. So these are those. So alkaline earth metal is group 2, having all valency as 2. The metalloid in the second and third periods. See, metalloids in the second and third period. Let us go to this table. See, second period. So near this border, see, on the border left hand side are the metals, and right hand side are the non-metals. So we have to write on the border which are the metalloids in the group in the second and third period. So these are boron and silicon. These are the two elements. So boron and silicon. Non-metals in the third period. So which are the non-metals in the third period? Phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine and argon. Third period. Non-metals in the third period. So first, second and third period. So this. So phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine and argon. So phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine and argon. Two elements having valency 4. So carbon and silicon are the two elements having valency 4. And I think that's all is the explanation. So hope you can write down this exercise. Do reading textbook is very important. Again I am repeating. Okay, so you can take these screenshots or you can write it down by you can pause this video and write down Mendel's periodic law, because I did not went into that detail. Then this is another question: structure of the modern periodic table. So what is the structure here that we have taken? Like there are 7 periods and 18 groups. So all these there are blocks. So you can write. And then the C part, position of isotopes in the Mendeleev's and modern periodic table. So what is the position of isotopes in Mendeleev's periodic table and also the modern periodic table? So then other things we have, rest other we have taken. So that's all, student. So in our next video we'll come up with exercise for the next chapter. Okay, thank you. If any doubt you can write in the comments, and please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get notification of next videos. Thank you.